Hi, this is Christian from wingsurfer.nl. Today's review is about the KT foiling Atlas range, which I use while wingfoiling in Tarifa, but mostly here in the Netherlands. In my previous review, part 1 and 2, I talked about the KT foil system and the Nomad front wing range. Now in part 3, I've had the chance to test the Atlas range in different conditions for the sizes 680, the 790, the 960 and the 1130. For optimal testing I only used one and the same board in the Netherlands, the KT Drifter 4 56 liter. I like to share my experiences so you can choose the foil that suits your needs. The aspect ratio of the Atlas range is between 10.5 and 11, and generally these just work a bit less on my local spot. We have quite some water moving around, and that's something you notice a lot on front wings that become wider. However, larger span front wings generally provide easy lift, and the glide can be enormous. So although they should perform best in longer ocean swells on flat water, here they can work well out in the back where the waves don't break as much. I tested them anyway, and I've had to say the smaller sizes behave quite well in more challenging conditions. Something I noticed on the whole KT range anyway, they are very easy foils. The Atlas range makes use of rear-loaded chamber design, giving them enormous lift for their size. Please keep in mind when I'm testing the larger front wings and when choosing your Atlas foil for an Atlas 960, you can easily add like 25% extra to your front wing without the high chamber design. So you can compare a 960 with a 1200 square centimeter normal front wing that hasn't the high chamber design. KT Atlas 680. The larger KT foils can feel a bit slow while wingfoiling, at least when you're an experienced foiler. However, the Atlas 680 actually feels quite fast. It's not as loose on the wave if you compare to the Nomad 700, but it goes on to foil more easily, and it has a very low stall speed for its size. When pumping around, I noticed the surface area is quite small. The Atlas 680 is 680 in square centimeter and is 85 centimeters wide. In the small swell I used it, I needed it to be high up the mast to pump along the swell, but it did do this quite well. Getting this front wing up for some speed, going for a jump, felt really good. It had a good release and re-entry. Even in turbulent water, this foil still felt very easy to use. Moving on to the KT Atlas 790. Although I took this foil in much less winds than 680, it went onto the foil quickly again. On this size I did start to feel the movements of the water a bit more, being 92 centimeters wide. Something I would not notice on the 680, the Nomad 830 or even the Instinct 920. I didn't experience a lot more glide on this one compared to the 680. I used the same 56 centimeter fuselage and 170 Atlas rearing. Going for a jump, the release felt a bit sticky. Might have been the lower winds, but I think I felt too much drag just before the pop. Then again, if jumping is your thing, the Atlas range is probably not the one to look at least not the larger sizes. Moving on to the 960. The first size going up, on which it's almost impossible not to get on foil. And once you're up, it feels like it doesn't want to go down anymore. The glide is enormous. The downside is that this front wing felt really slow cruising around and while going upwind. But if you like an easy foil to progress to providing a lot of glide, this is a good one. On the wave it still turned using the 56 centimeter fuselage, but it won't be as loose as a Nomad foil. Going one more up, the Atlas 1130. I did a light wind test on this one, and I was basically the only one out of 6 people flying that session. A true light wind magic weapon, I'd say. 56 liter, 5.3 and 12 knots, it worked. Getting up on this foil so easy, and staying up is also very easy. I only tried this one in very small chop conditions without waves. This foil will go along most small swell with ease, I think. But the downside is that this foil feels very slow, of course. But it beats standing still and being unable to get on foil. I also compared this one to the Instinct 1120 and Atlas 1130 goes on foil much easier in minimal conditions where you really need to pump the foil up. Conclusion. One thing every Atlas foil has in common: they are very easy to use. They might not always be the fastest or turn as fast. They can go slow, extremely slow for the given sizes, and get up very quick. If you're new to riding waves and just want to maximum glide, the Atlas range is a good one to look at. If you do want to go a bit faster, you just need to size down, which makes sense as you can use a front wing about 25% smaller than you were used to. If you want more maneuverability and ride more into the pocket of the wave, check out the Nomad range, also for jumping. However, also have a look at my next review about Instinct that is coming up. There's a jumping surprise in that range. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to receive updates on the latest. If you actually have any questions, please post them below. If you'd like to order a KT, just visit my webshop, wingsurfer.shop for English or wingsurfer.nl for Dutch. Thank you for watching.